While humans have achieved the remarkable scientific feat of landing on the moon and are actively strategizing colonization plans for Mars, the enduring presence of magical thinking and superstition are prevalent in many societies. In the rich tapestry of tribal cultures across Africa, these ancient beliefs have persevered for millennia, even in the face of the widespread influence of Christianity and Islam. These beliefs wield profound influence over every facet of life, from the moment of birth to the inevitable end of life, occasionally leading to tragic acts of violence. Sadly, there have been instances of severe violence against individuals with albinism, stemming from the deeply ingrained superstition that their uniquely pale skin could bestow good fortune upon those who possess their body parts. The boy and girl stand out from their classmates with pale white skin, faded hair, and light-colored eyes. Both of them have albinism, a genetic condition characterized by the body's inability to produce sufficient melanin. In the noisy classroom, among Lavina's school supplies, besides notebooks and pens, is a pocket-sized pair of binoculars, which she uses to view the blackboard. Sunlight has an extremely negative impact on individuals with albinism. As their bodies are devoid of melanin, their skins are extremely sensitive to light. Therefore, they are unable to stay in the sun for extended periods of time. They are at higher risk of skin cancer than the general population. Additionally, their eyes are sensitive to sunlight, which can result in either short or long-sightedness. After class, Lavina goes straight to the library. The school in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, has optical aid computers which enlarge letters to help the girl enjoy reading books. This is the life of albinos, who need to rely on various things in daily life. Sunscreen, sunglasses, and binoculars are essential. The most frightening thing for albinos in Africa isn't the sun, however. It's the people. Lavina says they're humans like everyone else. The more people attack them, the more they live in fear. They see themselves as the same as everyone else, but only God can help them survive these assaults. In some regions of sub-Saharan Africa, people with albinism like Lavina have faced social stigma and discrimination even from their own family members. Many children with albinism grow up without fathers because some men abandon their children when they're very young. These men believe that having an albino child is the result of their wives having an affair with a Caucasian. Pale skin is a recessive genetic trait. The condition may sometimes occur due to intermarriage between close relatives who are both carriers of the gene, among other genetic factors. Recessive genes for albinism can be present in many black individuals who do not exhibit the condition themselves. Albinism becomes apparent in a child when two recessive genes meet. In Europe and North America, albinism is a rare condition, occurring in 1 out of every 20,000 people. In Africa, however, the incidence is significantly higher, at 1 in 5,000 people. Tanzania has the highest percentage of individuals with albinism, with a prevalence of 1 in 1,400 people, and 1 in 17 people carry the recessive gene. Despite the relative prevalence of albinism in Tanzania, it's essential to acknowledge that the condition is far from universally embraced. In one of the world's most impoverished nations, a significant portion of the population lacks access to education, leading to a lack of awareness regarding the genetic nature of albinism. Tragically, some individuals hold a belief that those with albinism possess mystical abilities, and the possession of their organs or body parts is thought to bestow good fortune.
People with albinism are sometimes referred to as ghost people. They're believed to have special magical powers, and witch doctors have taken advantage of some of those beliefs and myths and created an industry around the selling of body parts, and basically claiming that body parts from people with albinism have magical powers that's going to bring you wealth and success. And these body parts go for a lot of money, $600 for a small piece of a body part, up to $75,000 for a whole body. So you can imagine how much money witch doctors are making out of this.
The abduction of infants and children with albinism occurs frequently. In some cases, they're killed, and in others, they live in profound suffering. Having had an arm or leg amputated, they become disabled for the rest of their lives. The crisis is so severe that the United Nations convened a conference in 2016 to address the problem and protect people with albinism.
We had this forum because attacks against persons with albinism for the purposes of taking their body parts for sale continue to happen, and it seems like it's spreading across the continent. The attack seems to be happening due to ignorance about the scientific basis of albinism, as well as witchcraft practices and insufficient government response to these issues.
The average lifespan of albinos is no more than 40 years due to their physical condition. In Tanzania, life expectancy is lower. A 2-week supply of sunscreen costs around $15 while most people's daily income is only $1.50. Under the scorching sun, the moles and melasma on individuals with albinism indicate that their skin is more fragile than that of other people. Moreover, social beliefs shorten the life expectancy of people with albinism, making every day a potential threat to their lives. Protesters marched through the streets holding signs against the killing of albinos. Some protesters had pale white skin, but it had turned pink due to the scorching sun. Nonetheless, the burning sensation on their skin was nothing compared to what people with albinism have to endure as victims of a belief. Life is no different for people with albinism in neighbouring Malawi. In February 2019, news of the abduction of a 14-year-old albino boy made headlines, leading villagers to come out and protest, demanding justice for the mother. The protests continued until March, with an increasing number of people with albinism joining the movement. They were furious at the government's inability to protect them. The protesters attempted to reach the president's residence, but their route was blocked by the police. Harry, one of the protesters, was a kidnapping survivor, and few people have been as lucky as him. He told us that a man came to his house at night and tried to open his window to enter, but failed. He shouted for help and later called the village leader, but the leader didn't turn up. He called the police, but they didn't respond either. Harry's horrifying experience reflects the delays and discrimination within government agencies. According to Amnesty International, since 2014 there have been 148 crimes committed against people with albinism. Of these, only 30% have been investigated, and in only one case has the perpetrator been arrested and punished. This is partly due to weak law enforcement. In 2015, the rate of crimes against albinos in Tanzania was as high as in Malawi. While the situation is still not entirely safe, it has significantly improved though, due to the crackdown on shamans, a person who is thought to have special powers to control or influence good and evil spirits.
The death penalty is on our criminal code, but it has not been implemented. The president has not signed the implementation of a death sentence. Now, if you look at what has happened in Tanzania, the stories we're hearing are true, that they have implemented the death penalty in Tanzania on the murderers of albinism victims, and the crime the evil practice has gone way down. Perhaps the same could work here. It could be an answer in that sense.
After raiding and taking action against the shamans who exploited people with pale skin, the police found the corpse of a pale-skinned child wrapped in cloth, along with equipment used for ceremonies. According to official reports, in Tanzania at least 76 people with albinism have been killed since 2006. Their fingers, arms and legs were cut off for the ritual. Their teeth were removed to make amulets. The blood was collected to make holy water. Even babies, just a few weeks old, face a terrifying fate. Even after death, the graves of people with albinism are often desecrated, their bones dug up and ground into powder. In remote areas of Africa, black magic still holds sway. Almost every village has its own shaman. These shamans play an important role as healers who treat ailments with medicinal plants. On the other hand, there are beliefs that shamans can cast curses on villagers involved in disputes or enhance good fortune upon those seeking success. Superstitious beliefs are not limited to uneducated villagers. They influence all levels of society. This was evident during the 2015 elections in Tanzania, when the number of murders of albinos reached an all-time high. Local politicians reportedly hired villagers to hunt for the organs of albinos, for use in ceremonies aimed at winning elections. This surge in crime prompted the former president of Tanzania, Jakaya Kikwete, to launch a nationwide operation to arrest shamans who practice medicine without legal registration. As a result, more than 200 illegal shamans were arrested that year.
Assumptions that by using these body parts, by using this blood of people with the albinism, they will be voted easily. They will be, those who are voters, it is like they have a good luck.
A few months later, a Tanzanian court handed down death sentences to 4 individuals for the murder of a woman with albinism, with the intent to use her organs in rituals. This legal decision represented a noteworthy change in efforts to safeguard albinos. It's worth noting that the death penalty had not been enforced in Tanzania since 1994. The former Tanzanian president publicly denounced this heinous act of murder, describing it as despicable and bringing shame upon the nation. In August 2019, a Malawi court sentenced 3 people to death for the murders of individuals with albinism. This was the second set of executions following one in May, when the perpetrator of the 2017 murder of an albino was finally punished. Malawi has not implemented the death penalty for 25 years, with the most severe punishment being a life sentence. The return of the death penalty is, however, expected to reduce crimes against people with albinism, just like in Tanzania. Justice was served for the family of the deceased, but not for all.
If you want to see more great content from all over the world, please like the video, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you.
Ukerewe Island is the largest island in Lake Victoria. It's surrounded by Africa's largest body of fresh water. Today, it is newly recognized as a place of refuge for people with albinism in Tanzania. Many people with the condition feel comfortable enough to call this place home, due to the limited size of the island and its effective security. Alphonse Jacobo, a Ukerewe resident, told us that the albinos living on the island are safe because the police force have ensured that the island's security is very tight. The island is also surrounded by water, so if someone dares to commit crime, escape won't be easy. They'll definitely be arrested, and that is why the people with albinism are in a safe environment. As news about the island spread, many families were convinced to bring their children with albinism here for safety. According to the 2006 census, there were 75 people with the condition living on the island. They joined a community of about 20,000 people whose ancestors have lived there for generations. In addition to the policy of getting rid of shamans, increasing pressure on the community has also helped reduce crimes against people with albinism. The Tanzanian government has issued new rules, stating that if an individual with albinism is murdered, the community leader must be held accountable. This pressure has led to communities deciding to send people with albinism to houses built by Human Rights Watch, including some on this island. Even though their skin colour is different, people with albinism here live in harmony with the villagers. They can walk outside without fear, and the children grow up with a future. Many albinos scattered throughout the region are, however, still at risk of being kidnapped and dismembered. Creating a dedicated space is only a temporary solution. To solve the problem in the long term, the government should educate people and solve the problem of poverty, which is the root cause of human trafficking.
Attacks against persons with albinism is really a litmus test. What we call litmus test in chemistry is really testing our ability to protect vulnerable people. Because people with albinism are not millions in each country. At most, we're tens of thousands. And if we cannot protect people so few and so vulnerable, then there is a problem, because this is a problem that can be solved.
One individual saw this problem and thought that under the same sun, everyone should have equal opportunities. Under the Same Sun is now a non-profit organisation founded by Canadian billionaire Peter Ash to assist people with albinism in Africa. Apart from gathering criminal cases and delivering justice to victims, the organisation also provides scholarships to children and offers vocational training programs to help them secure a future.
I've just finished secondary school and I've been selected to the University of Malawi Chancellor College. So my message is that people should know that an albino can do anything. He or she can also contribute to the nation in one way or the other. Just like me, after my 4 years at Chancellor College, I'm planning to major in economics so that I can be able to contribute to the economy of the nation.
Beyond offering opportunities, it's about helping them embrace their own beauty. Pale white skin is beautiful just as it is, and no one should have to hide from society simply because they were born looking different. In September 2019, Malawi held the Albino Beauty and Handsome pageant, marking the first time in the country that albinos had the opportunity to shine on stage. In addition to encouraging individuals with albinism to come out of the shadows, the project also aims to change society's attitudes. There were 20 contestants, and the winners were Chikondi and Bennett. The project is organised by the Association of Persons with Albinism in Malawi, or APAM, which aims to hold the contest every year, which is no different from any other beauty pageant.
I think we need to really acknowledge that before the census, we thought that there were 15,000 people living with albinism in Malawi. Today, we know you are 134,000. This is an amazing number of people with talent, with brains, and also with beauty.
I am going to let them know that persons with albinism also have to enjoy the rights, human rights, as everyone else.
Albinism is a genetic condition, and beyond the distinctions in skin and hair colour, as well as potential physical vulnerabilities. Individuals with albinism are essentially no different from other people. In Africa, life poses considerable hazards for albinos, ranging from the challenges related to physical weakness to the perils of widespread misconceptions. Under the same sun, albinos face a heightened risk of harm. Today, numerous organisations extend their support. Although there's been a reduction in the murder rate of people with the condition, compared to several years ago, they are still far from being considered entirely secure. Skin colour, influenced by a physical condition, warrants empathy and safeguarding, rather than being met with exclusion or violence.